Hey guys, it's Otto Winkler here, and in this video I'd like to talk about some training tips. So the tip number one, make sure you have great technique, and if you're not sure about your technique, get your trainer or someone who knows the technique well to check it out for you, because sometimes we think we know, and then when we go into the fatigue level, the body is just basically not able to hold it, and some people are not aware of this. I only realized I was doing some mistakes when I was doing my personal training course, and I was already training good 10 years in the gym. So sometimes even just the fact that we train for many years, we don't know what we don't know, basically. So especially the spinal hyperextension, doing bent over positions like deadlift, squats, or bent over rows. Sometimes people hyperextend their lower backs. So just being able to work with a mirror and being able to keep the neutral spine. So there's a technique for that where you practice with a stick or some light bar like we have on a body pump. Light bar, you attach it to your back, so your hips, your back, and your head makes 3 points of contact. When you bend over, you should be still keeping those 3 points touching where they started. So tip number 2 would be to have a focus. So when you train, let's say chest muscles, you should be able to contract the chest muscles and feel that you're getting the pump and fatigue in the target muscle. This is not like when you look at the strength training or power training, where we just want to bring the bar from point A to point B, and doesn't matter really how we get there. In most cases, people looking for muscular tone, muscular building, weight loss, and so on. So being able to target the muscle that is your focus is crucial for development of the muscle. And sometimes it's really that we have the weakness or lack of ability to contract certain muscles. They're not performing very well. That will be our weak muscles, or the muscles we feel we don't have great connection, maybe mind-body connection. So if you, for example, do bench press and all you feel is your shoulders or your tricep, and none of the chest muscles are really felt being exhausted at the end of the training, maybe try to do some chest flies with the cables, or even with a band, and make sure you're contracting those chest muscles and then you feel them being activating. So if you have a trouble to contract certain muscles, practice slowly with lighter weights and really focus on contracting the muscles. And over time, these muscles will become more alive and more engaged in the lifting, and you're gonna lift more, and you actually be able to target that muscle and avoid the plateau, basically. Tip number three would be about consideration of different aspects of training. So let's say instead of doing high repetitions, to focus also on low repetitions and heavier weights, short breaks, long breaks, and so on. Those will be very important factors to make your session different, and it's all about the change and challenge. So if you change few variables, you will have more challenge. It's going to be harder. It's something which you might not be accustomed to as much. So again, you will force the body to adapt to the new next level challenge, and that will actually reassure results showing up in different ways as well. Here you could consider, let's say, cardio training, high intensity cardio training. You could consider, instead of full body workouts, to split your routine, or within those individual split routines or full body workouts, you can consider to apply some different methods of execution that program, which could be, let's say, supersets, triple sets. Superset, that means 2 exercises together, back to back. So let's say you have a chest press and bent over row. So you're using the chest muscles, and then as you pull back, you're using your back muscles, but the concentric and eccentric phase will be the same muscles both ways. So actually you're gonna get a better, fuller workout of both of them. So again, it's gonna increase the intensity because you're gonna do 2 sets in a row. So again, you're gonna be way more out of breath. And also what it will do is that you increase the ratio between the working and resting. So again, if you're used to certain volume, this could be great method to make sure that your volume is increased, the density of the training, and so for the intensity. So again, you do more in the same time, and that will definitely do some good change in your body. Another way of considering to change your routine would be some drop sets. So let's say instead of having 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 16 repetitions, the usual ones, let's say start some sort of pyramid to warm up, get sort of medium weights, and then get very heavy weights, and then drop it down, preferably on machines. So let's say if you have like extensions or leg curls, so get your muscles first warmed up, and make sure your joint doesn't take too much pressure starting too heavy. I learned over time that it's better to spend a little bit more time getting ready for the high performance set and not to use every set to the max. Okay, and this actually brings me to the next tip, which would be know how far to go before you stop your set, before you stop exercising. So this took me quite a while, because before I used to train to the failure almost all the time. I felt the more pain, the more challenge, the better. Obviously when you're 17, 18, you can cope with it. Now I'm turning 36 in summer, so I've noticed I cannot do that all the time myself at the moment. So my recovery time is way slower than, let's say, 15 years ago, 14 years ago. So basically, not every set has to go to the fatigue. And quite honestly, the most I believe now, after years, which I was wrong, is that it's actually the nutrition, the food, to have enough calories, to have enough protein, to be able to build muscles, not just training like a psychopath in the gym and taxing your body to the max, because again, you have to recover your energy, your muscles, your tendons, your joints, your hormones, and also your nervous system has to recover, and they each take different times to recover, depends on exercise. Let's say deadlift will be, or squats will be way more taxing for these systems than, let's say, biceps curls or some sort of core training or calf training. So you might consider also, if you're recovering well from your training sessions, that will be quite important. Alright guys, so tip, I forgot which number it is, I think it's tip 4. Make sure your sessions are fun. Make sure you are able to improvise, that you constantly learn new exercises and experiment. And yeah, seriously, when you experiment with the new exercises, you're learning how your body works and how you can contract and work certain muscles with different angles. I think for me that was the biggest understanding from experimenting with the cable machines and the almost unlimited possibilities of angles and different ways of challenging your muscles. So try to, for example, change your routine in such a way that it's something new, something where you can use different angles. So you're not stuck into that sort of rigid way of you train, because I've noticed myself, I've noticed with other guys who could be considered very advanced trainees. So we have the power of habit, and power of habit is either good or it's either bad, because if you're lazy and you don't have a habit of doing stuff, so then that habit is strong and it's very hard to break it. If you have a habit of doing the same exercises, let's say, or eating the same meal, for example, so having the same exercises will more likely to make you plateau, even though they could be few weeks, 2 months, let's say, of the same program, which is okay, and sometimes for strength development that is actually recommended. But for most people, actually having more variety in their training methods, it's possibly better, because you don't get bored, and also you're constantly changing. So again, your body's adapting constantly to something new. So make it fun, make it creative, improvise, learn, get excited, and get it done. See you in the next video.